Rim Porcio, TopVelocity.net, pitch announcer Anthony, going to pair him up with Eric Orzi. Coming out of leg lift, you can see Anthony keeps the back leg stiff. Eric, out of leg lift, immediately moves into flexion. So when Anthony's moving forward, he then later on, after shifting momentum forward, then he starts to bend his back leg, and the shin just stays static. It just sits there. You see Orzi's shin moving with him. It's not moving ahead. He's holding torsion, basically staying in external rotation of the femur, but he's moving in flexion and forward, and as he's moving forward, so we call forward and down the same rate. So because Anthony was kind of stiff lock-legged and then went into flexion, and his shin kind of sat there, his lift leg got really far ahead, and it starts to pull the back leg around as opposed to really driving. So you can see now as the back knee is extending, the front leg is reaching way out. It's now pulling the backside. We want to power the backside. See, if you watch here, Orzi staying closed, holding torsion, and then as he opens his front knee, the back knee goes down, and then you'll see the lower leg kick right here, kick, as he hits front foot strike. And so when he lands, you get an open hip position. When Anthony lands, you got a closed hip position. So big difference here, closed hip position, open hip position. This is because this leg was driving, this leg was being drug off the mound. Okay, so the key is making sure that as you're loading, you're flexing back leg, and the front leg is not trying to work against it. The front leg is staying back with it, like you see Eric here. The front leg is staying back, helping hold load on this weight. And then when the front leg opens, that back leg engages and passes through with it in the front foot, as opposed to here with Anthony, where when the front leg opens up, back leg is just being pulled, and it's almost like it's glued down to the rubber, and then it's being now drug off, and the hips are closed. We've got to get the hips to open at front foot strike, because that's what optimizes hip to shoulder separation. So you can see here too, front foot strike, Anthony going into it, watch this glove side, and this typically happens when your back hip is not powering, your glove side gets really active to help out. So his glove throws up and across his body, so when he lands, he's moving into early trunk rotation. If we had a back shot here, we could probably see his elbow way off behind his back. Okay, so as he's stabilizing, early trunk rotation. So as the hips are opening, so is the shoulders. We don't have a lot of hip to shoulder separation. You can see Orzi here, hips are opening and the shoulders are still back as the hips are opening. You see here with Anthony, hips are opening and the shoulders are opening. All right, so not separating well. That's why at release, he's so vertical. And at release here for Orzi, he's so much more forward in his trunk orientation because he delayed the trunk, opened the hips earlier, and then all that energy projects or catapults forward. The only thing Orzi could have done better is even driving his front leg. So you see more bent in front leg and more everything's up because everything came around together. And it really stems from all the initial movements. Starting with a more flexed back knee, not letting the lift leg get away from the backside, keeping the lift leg close to the body until the backside is in a linear position, like right here with Orzi to drive. And then when you open, you power. You don't want to be in a position where this is getting kicked out and this is still down, being pulled off the rubber. Then that's going to put a dead weight or an anchor on your back hip, which is not going to help power your hips open as you separate your shoulders and you sequence all that energy from the ground up. So hope this helps. The key is just really learning lower half like we do with 3X programs, learning to drive and separate, and then getting into the more advanced movements where keeping the lift leg more passive, getting the force vectors linear, and triggering rotation, power rotation out of a closed or a lateral position like we do in the full delivery.